Jen, a Walk with History museum professional, veteran, historian, and I'm in front of the Mary McLeod Bethune house here off of Logan Circle in Washington, D.C., 1318 Vermont Avenue. And we're here because she was so instrumental to the 688. She is the one who lobbied President Roosevelt to allow African American women into the Army Corps. And the 688 is an African American woman unit that went over to Europe during World War II to handle all the backlog of mail for service members. They, in just a couple months, were able to handle 2 years worth of backlog of mail, and service members were able to get their letters from home, their packages from home. And if you've never been deployed before and know what mail means to a service member who's away from family, it means so much to rejuvenate you and help with your morale while you're out there fighting. So this is her home, and we're gonna go inside. It's now a part of the National Park Service, and we're gonna go inside and check it out. This is a Victorian townhouse. She purchased it in 1943. It was her Washington, D.C. residence for 6 years, and it served as the headquarters for the National Council of Negro Women. And it contains the National Archives for Black women's history. And it's the only institution in the United States solely dedicated for that purpose. So this is her life here. Mary McLeod Bethune, 1875-1955. And you come in the front door, and you have the 2 rooms here, and then you can go upstairs. So we're gonna walk upstairs. And the very first room you come to when you walk in is her bedroom. And what's interesting about her bedroom is she has a picture of her parents above her bed from South Carolina, sharecroppers. Well, she's actually the 15th of 17 children, but the only one that's educated. And she takes that all the way and goes to college. And after college, she decides to run a school for African American girls in Daytona Beach, Florida. And that school is now a university today. But here she is in Daytona Beach, Florida, with the African American girls. That cane in the corner of her bedroom is her cane, but it's a gift from Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Bethune grew up amidst poverty and oppression of the Reconstruction South, and she rose to prominence as an educator, presidential advisor, and political activist. So this is Mary McLeod Bethune's office, and this is where she would meet with people, and here is where she would lead the National Council of African American Women, National Council of Negro Women. And so this would be filled with desks and offices, and I was told one of the quotes is that any idea that keeps anybody out is too small. She really felt encompassing everybody. And there are some hats here. I thought it was neat because my grandmother was a milliner, from hat boxes that were her hats. And there's still hats in here. You can look in there and have some old trunks. But this is where all her staff would have been. And then on the 3rd floor is a women's safe house. So women could come here if they needed a place to feel safe and refuge. And there's no records of any women staying there, although that's what it was, because she didn't want any documentation of the women that stayed there. So pretty to keep them safe. is the president of the headquarters of the National Council of Negro Women. And the reason why she's able to have such an influence in the National Council of Negro Women is because she is best friends with Eleanor Roosevelt. They became best friends in 1927. They both went to a National Women's Council meeting and both realized that women, the word women, wasn't representing all women. And both Roosevelt and Bethune became very upset at that meeting and decided to join forces and make a council that represented all women, and that was the National Council of Negro Women. And one of the things that my son noticed is that this chandelier is from the White House. It was actually given to her by Truman, and it's the same chandelier that is in the White House. Since we just came from the White House, he was able to notice. And this room was her office, her living space. And there's another portrait of Mary McLeod Bethune right there. Mary Bethune was influential with the Secretary of War in 1941 because she's good friends with Eleanor Roosevelt. Franklin Delano Roosevelt wants to seek her counsel. She becomes a special assistant to the Secretary of War, and she's personally selected the first 40 black women to serve in the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, the WACs. She selects those first 40 women. So her influence is what brings in these African American women. Those African women form the 688 unit. The 688 unit goes overseas to handle the backlog of service members' mail, and they're able to fix it, disseminate that mail, do it in a radically quick time and very efficiently, prove their worth, prove their purpose, prove their efficiency in the United States military. And here's a picture here of Mary Bethune meeting with some of those. Okay, and here's Mary Bethune with Eleanor Roosevelt. I was told at this table is where they planned the March on Washington in 1963. I held like 10 meetings here. I decided the music, decided where to meet, decided the logistics. So what do I think after being at the Mary McLeod Bethune house? I am blown away again by these women who just do amazing things, amazing feats. She's living in a part of town that doesn't want her here. She's raising awareness for women who have been completely overlooked by history, and she's moving the pendulum, she's moving it forward for African American women. And the 688 is just a result of that. But a lot of women were moved forward by her work and what Mary McLeod Bethune did for them. More of an untold story right now in America, but that's what we're here to do with Walk with History. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot about her. And I hope when you watch 6888, when it comes out here soon, that you think of Mary McLeod Bethune and what she did for African American women. On to my next Walk with History.